What up, YouTube? My name is Cheryce. Welcome to Reese TV. Glad that you're here. And welcome to another episode of Makeup News, where I do my makeup as I give the news. So let's make up and get right into it. So let's talk about Taraji P. Henson, as she is still making the news. And guess what? This happened. Did you know that this was released in 2017? I'm pretty sure you didn't. And guess why? The reason why you didn't know? Because she had an awful team. Or maybe not the best type of team. Guess what? That team that she mentions paying for Benjamin Button back in 2008, she fired back in 2020. But I'm pretty sure that this team is saying, ooh, she's talking about getting paid in the industry in her interviews. And she talks about this just a little bit in her book. So let's go ahead and promote the heck out of her book. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that out here. Her team is fantastic for capitalizing on this. Great job. Why is it that when I am looking for something, there's always something that's missing? So where is my thing that holds back my hair? No matter how prepared I am, I'm just not prepared enough. One moment. Here it is. So let's go ahead and get this hair out of my face. I feel like we're also looking at my hair grow and me refuse to cut it every day I think about it. Especially at this stage. Like at this stage, everything on top is trying to catch up with everything on the bottom, except for my bangs. My bangs is not going to catch up for a good while. But the top part, the very, very top part, is going to get close to the bottom part, and then the bottom's gonna be like, oh yeah, now we can grow. So this is the part that is hard with growing my hair, but we're gonna stick with it. We are gonna be disciplined. We're gonna make it through this. We're gonna get the hair that we want. Yeah. Anywho, so Taraji, she's still making the news, talking about her pay. Now, the newest news I found was that people are actually coming after Brad Pitt for the pay that Taraji got during Benjamin Button. Apparently, they believe that he should have stepped in. Now, I understand the concept of actors watching out for other actors. I know that Benedict Cumberbatch, he is quite famous for making sure that the women on his projects get as much pay as he does. Very commendable of him. He does not have to do that. No actor has to do that, but he does. And that is something that is commendable, but not to be expected. And I feel like people were expecting Brad Pitt to have done the same. Well, he reportedly didn't. Well, allegedly. Now, let's talk about Brad Pitt's pay. Brad Pitt's pay, nobody actually knows. What? So, in her memoir, and by the way, this hasn't come up in her memoir quite yet. I am halfway through her memoir. It hasn't come up about her pay. Benjamin Button has come up once, and that's just to talk about her accolades. Her pay during Benjamin Button has not come up. So let me leave that disclaimer. So how do I know what she talked about in her memoir about her pay? Well, the internet. I actually did some extensive journalistic work on finding out the pay and what she actually said in her memoir. I actually spent my vacation doing it. Most people would actually be enjoying their vacation, but I wasn't. I mean, maybe I was. I mean, this is what I do anyway. This is what I do in my free time. I investigate. I just go down this rabbit hole of thoughts, and I can't stop unless it's done. So in her memoir, she reportedly says that she was not paid as much as Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett. She says that they deserved how much they got paid. However, the amount that she was asking for, which was just $500K, was fair to her. Now, I don't agree. I looked into her IMDb just to see about her experience before Benjamin Button and to compare that experience with Brad Pitt because he is the topic. Did you know she only did 16 films? 16. And that includes Baby Boy and Hustle and Flow. The other movies, who knows her for? Like, unless you are a real Taraji fan, you most likely don't know her other films. So, in putting together how much she was paid before, she was worth about $102,000, which makes sense as to why she was originally offered $100,000 for Benjamin Button. So, she negotiated $50K more. So, they were paying her worth. Her worth was $100K. They paid her $50K more than her worth. Now, also, going back to her memoir, she mentions that she has no idea how much Brad Pitt was paid. Check. If you don't know how much Brad Pitt was paid, you can't say that you were paid less than Brad Pitt because you don't know. He didn't discuss it. Now, from the internet, we do know that his asking price is $10 million. Did he get $10 million? We don't know, but that is his asking price. So if we do the math, we find that $200K is actually 2% of what Brad Pitt allegedly got. So I believe that it's safe to say that this is the math that Taraji is mathing, that she got less than 2% of Brad Pitt's pay. So she mentions in her memoir that Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett got millions of dollars to her measly $500K ask, and she only got $150K. She continues to say, I have no idea how much Brad Pitt actually got, but I'm pretty sure that is more than I'll see in a lifetime because they're not paying actors like they used to. So that is a good point to bring up. So I did look up how much Cate Blanchett's net worth is, and I believe I saw that it was about 90 million. Now, mind you, she got about 80 to 90 million just for Lord of the Rings. Okay? But in that article, they mentioned that most of her net worth is Lord of the Rings. So in other words, she has not seen that amount of money since Lord of the Rings. So it's safe to say that that much is true. So let's go ahead and talk more about her memoir. Okay, so her memoir is definitely in her voice. For the most part, it's like talking to her. It's like sitting down with someone and hearing their life story. And it's like that for both good and bad. So there are at least a few times that I have caught typos. There's literally a part where she says, "by mom and I." And by spelled B-Y. And I literally looked at this sentence like 3 times. Like, by mom and I. And by mom and I. And by mom and I. And I'm like, and by mom and I. That doesn't make sense. And then I said, oh my God! She meant my mom and I. So there are just these little tiny typos that are just throughout the book. And it's like, did you have an editing team? Did anybody else look over this book before it was published, before it went out? And she has a co-writer on there. She's also a famous author. And you're telling me that not even she caught on to it? weird. It's almost as if Taraji wrote it and people were like, yeah, girl, it's good. And then they just let it go. And then it tries so hard to sound smart. That is my other gripe. So, not to say that Taraji is not smart. You find in her book that she actually studied engineering. Yes, she did it for 1 year, but she did study engineering. As far as I saw, she only failed math, which, given, is really, really needed if you want to be an engineer. But it shows that she is really smart. But when I say that she literally tries too hard to sound smart, I mean that, and I'm just giving an example. I'm not quoting her word for word because this is not what she said. But this is an example of what she said. So she'll say something like, I love the song My Heart Will Go On, made famous by Celine Dion for the movie Titanic, which was directed by James Cameron and starred Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, that is an example of her book trying to sound too smart. It's like, nobody talks like that. Nobody. You could have just said that scene from Titanic and just describe the scene. You don't have to say Leonardo DiCaprio. You don't have to say Kate Winslet. You just say what scene you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure everybody would know if they care about Titanic, right? Or you just said Titanic, so we just know, hey, it's a scene of Titanic, and if we're that curious, we'll look it up. But this girl is like a whole, like, I'm going to give you the IMDb of this particular movie just to make a point about a scene of this movie. It didn't make sense. Another thing that Taraji said in an interview was that she has not been given a raise since Proud Mary. So when I first saw that quote, I said to myself, oh man, that's crazy, right? But then a post about Tyler Perry and how much he paid her came out. He paid her $500K. You know, that amount that she was talking about wanting for Benjamin Button. He paid her first $500K. Proud Mary came out before the movie that she did for Tyler Perry. So let me be clear. I am not saying that what she's saying about Black women's payment is untrue. I believe that's true. There's way too many Black women in Hollywood that are saying the same thing. One of which I actually do respect, which is Viola Davis. Oh man, I already did this wrong. Well, I saw Kylie Jenner's makeup tutorial. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna... Woo! Why don't I have... Okay, all right. I don't have... Ooh, okay. All right, I don't know what happened, but my hand was like, I have Parkinson's. Oh my God, that was interesting. And so I'm like, ooh, let me go ahead and do a little bit of what I saw on there. Okay, yeah, it's just not going to work with me today. And it's fine. I mean, all I needed was that from it, so I'm not going to be all like, oh no, it must be perfect. No, I just needed it to do those little bits. Oh, and she also did it. Oh, this shakiness is bothering me. I'm also going to do a little bit right here because I find that I have a lot of laugh lines, and you're supposed to be covering those laugh lines, so I'm doing that. So anyway, I'm not saying that what she's saying about payment is untrue. What I'm saying is that it doesn't help the truth, and people can clearly see that you are lying, right? It's all over the internet that you are lying. So what is the point of lying if you are trying to make a movement, if you are trying to break the ceiling for other people, other women, other Black women, right? It doesn't help when you are found out to be a liar. And if I didn't hear from Viola Davis some of the same things, then I wouldn't believe her, right? Oh man, of course this makes this whole process a lot longer. I have a meeting in less than 30 minutes. And I'm here trying to make concealer work for the first time in forever. I don't normally put on concealer. I was just like, ooh, I'm curious today. Don't be curious when you have a meeting in less than 30 minutes. I look like I just lost all my color trying to look a certain way. I am most likely going to go ahead and put on some more foundation in order to make this work. I am not liking how this is looking. Anyway, I do see that the book actually gives more intel on who Taraji is. Taraji is a hustler. Hustler in the sense of she works. She does work a lot. And she works hard. She doesn't work smart. And she plays hard as well. She talked about how she first got her first car and she hustled to get that first car, right? But she'll go out drinking knowing full well that she would need to move her car the very next day from where it was parked because the street sweeper would come at a certain time of the day. She said that she knew that she would need to wake up and park her car somewhere else. But on days that she did some hard drinking, she wouldn't get up, or she wouldn't get up in time, which caused her car to get a boot. That was just an added expense. And it's not like she came from money. Her mom struggled to make ends meet, and this was during the time that she was in college. And so now sometimes her mom would have to take her to school if she didn't get up in time to walk to school, because where she went to college was just basically not too far away from where she lived. So from what I gather, she hasn't really changed much. She is definitely the same Taraji. And so she would get herself into scenarios, these type of scenarios, constantly. And Benjamin Button, as we find, is a little bit her fault. Honestly, looking at her IMDb, she didn't have enough experience to get what she was asking for. And if she had proper representation, they would have either told her that truth so that she could make a informed decision instead of just believing, they're just not paying me because I'm a Black woman. It's like, no, not really. You have 16 movies to Brad Pitt's 45 movies. Cate Blanchett had 35 movies. And that included all the Lord of the Rings. So Taraji didn't have enough credits to ask for 500K. She didn't. She could have avoided that. She could have had that if she had more experience under her belt. In this business, it's all about the experience that you have. I went ahead and looked up my girl, Viola Davis, just to get a better look. And once again, I'm missing something. I know I'm missing my lipstick. Oh, no. Here it is. It was right in front of me. It was clear. Anyway, I looked up Viola Davis. Viola Davis did 35 films before 2008. And during that time period, if I recall correctly, Viola Davis was worth $10 million. So obviously it's the work that you do that makes you worth what you believe that you're worth. Like in your head, and that's something that she mentions, that she has a confidence that her father instilled in her of what she is worth. The problem is she hadn't done all the work to get how much she was truly worth. Any case, my meeting is in like 1 minute and I'm done with everything anyway. Ooh. I feel like I look like a ghost. Do I look like a ghost? It's not good. Oh my God, I need color. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is just gonna have to work. So, good or bad, I'm done with my makeup and I gotta go. So, until next time, I will catch you later. Goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.